Good day, folks, and welcome to Journey of the Anointed with Mr. Buzz. I am Mr. Buzz, and I'm taking on the controversial topics today. One of the things the Lord has expressed to me is that there are certain topics that need to be discussed on this earth, and pretty much everyone is afraid to even touch them. He knows I'm not, because I'm a unique person in the way that I don't care what people think of me. And when it comes to this YouTube channel, well, I mean, you can see, just go to my homepage and look at the views. It's not a very successful channel. I've been at this for years. I've been doing this a long time. I have certain people who are dedicated to watching it and really like what I have to say and, tune in on a regular basis. But YouTube will not recommend my videos to very many people, and the channel stays small, and sometimes I'm lucky if I get 50 views on a video. But I don't care. That's really, that's why the Lord says, you go and keep talking about these things, because at least somebody's gonna get the message. And so here I go again with another very controversial topic. In the last one, I spoke about the Asians attempting to take over cities in Canada. A lot of people are going to call me a racist. Okay, call me a racist, whatever, do your thing. That's okay. I don't care. I really don't care. You can have fun with that all day. Call me a racist 100 times a day. It doesn't matter. Well, after this video, you're going to call me a misogynist probably. But again, I don't care, because I'm not a misogynist. I know I'm not a misogynist, and that isn't the purpose of making this video. I'm going to start with a little story. I was in the grocery store today, trying to be the best person I can be, as I always am. When I'm out in public, I look for people who need help, or like, for an example, when I'm in the line at the grocery store, I've got a whole cart full of stuff. I got my whole month's worth of groceries. The person behind me has one item. I'm going to encourage them to go ahead of me. They don't have to wait for me. I'm going to take, 5, 6, maybe even 8 to 10 minutes. You go ahead. And plus, I don't have any job to get to or anything. I'm not, there's not a bunch of kids at home waiting for me to come home and cook them their meal and all this stuff. No, I got a couple of cats and a pretty laid-back life. So I'm just trying to help out where I can and be a nice person. The lady in front of me is walking like this, and I clued in after a while. She's totally faking it, okay? She's totally faking it. And she made that obvious. Once people started talking to her and making her smile and laugh, she lost this robotic way she was moving. She wanted everyone to think of her as completely battered and beat up. But first, when I saw her, she's trying to get her stuff off the cart and put it on the conveyor belt to get, and she's acting like she can barely move. So the cashier wants to come around and help her, and no, she doesn't want that. Okay, so the cashier's backs off a little bit. So she keeps trying, and she's really having great difficulty just picking up a little bottle of barbecue sauce and putting it on the thing. So I offer to help. I'm like, my dear, can I help you? I'll put your... No. And I'm a man, so she really didn't want me to help. Okay? That was the main point she's trying to make. I'm like, whoa. She looks right at me, and she goes, I was a victim of a man, and he beat me up. He beat the piss out of me for years, and that's why she's injured, and she can't put her groceries on the conveyor belt. And she's going to make a big point out of being scared of me because I'm a man trying to help her. Okay, now this is a woman, maybe 60 years old, didn't weigh very much. She's a very tiny little woman. And maybe she did have some physical difficulties. I don't know. There's no way I can say that. But it became very obvious to everybody watching that she wanted to make a point out of, oh no, I'm scared of men. Men are bad, men are bad, men are bad, men are bad. That's what she was all about. That's what she was trying to do. So I'm not going near this problem anymore. I'll pull my cart back a little ways. All right. You know, I've experienced, here's another story. The last time I was in a bar, I'm standing totally by myself watching the band, and I'm a musician, so I'm interested in the band. This woman is sitting at the bar about 4 feet away from me. And the music's pretty loud, so she has to yell at me to get my attention. But she does. Hey, you. She wants, so I go to reach over to see what she wants. And as I do, she goes, no, don't come too close. I hate men. I'm scared of men. You called me. Okay, you just yelled at me to come over because you wanted my attention. Now you're telling me to go away because you're scared of men. The two things can't live in the same place. They can't inhabit the same space. Okay? That is true. That both of the stories I just told you happened exactly as I told them. There's no exaggeration here. There's no embellishment. That is what happened. The one in the grocery store today even went as far as to start yelling out the name of the man who abused her. I forget what his name was now. She said it 2 or 3 times too. I was trying to tune it out. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And she's shaking and she's getting all upset, and she wanted everyone to know that a man abused her and beat her up, and that's why she can't put her groceries on that conveyor belt. What makes a person do something like that? Well, it's craving attention, craving sympathy. Somebody who's, I have empathy for her. For her to get to that point that she's willing to do this, she must feel pretty alone. She must feel pretty invisible. And I get that. I get that because I feel invisible too. Excuse me. I totally feel invisible to this world. I can be out, in public all day, and like I say, I'm usually trying to, if I'm looking around, who needs help? Who's lonely? Who just needs a good day? How you doing? That's the kind of person I am, and I'm not looking for praise for it. I'm just saying that's the way I am. And I can feel completely ignored by the whole world, because sometimes, even if you find somebody who looks like they need that and you try to offer that, they can get away from me, you scummy man, you terrible person, you're a man, you're a woman beater, probably. No, never ever laid my hands on a woman in that respect, ever. There's no violent bone in my body. That I can say honestly. I do not have a violent bone in my body. Once when I was not very small, I was young, I did one violent act against somebody once, and it made me feel sick for a long time, and it still to this day makes me feel sick. I'm not a violent person at all, I promise. But because of some of the men out there who have done this, there are women who are going to take advantage of that and blame every man they see. And this is really a problem for me. This is really something that bothers me a lot. Because I know a lot of men, and a lot of them are not any danger to any women at all. No, the men that I've chosen to be around, the ones I know really well, they would be the ones intervening and stopping any man from ever laying a hand on them. The code of chivalry, right? I believe in the code of chivalry, where the woman needs to be protected. It's up to the man to be the one to protect her from that kind of abuse. Wherever you see it, you see a woman getting pushed around and physically threatened by a man, step in and stop that. He's not to do that. That's literally what I believe in and would do. But this woman in the grocery store decided to, she wanted to make it a big point that men are bad and need to be feared by all women. And she wanted to be the example of that. Look at me. Look how beaten up I am. She was even saying that. She's like, he beat the piss out of me for years. And I was scared to even get up in the morning because I'd get a punch in the face first thing. And like, okay, well, that sounds like a severe psycho you were living with. And I'm sorry that happened to you. But you have no right to blame every man you see, especially one behind you in the grocery store line, who's simply trying to help you put your groceries on the conveyor belt, who's not trying to beat you up or anything like that, right? Or let's go further with the other story. The one at the bar who I reached over to see what she wanted. No, don't come too close. I'm scared of men. That's literally what she did. I'm like, okay. And I said to her, I said, you called me over. She goes, yeah, but I want you to keep your distance. I'll scream at you from back here. I'm like, you know what? I don't really want to talk to you anymore. I'm really not interested in talking to you. I wasn't in the first place. I was minding my own business watching the band. I'm going to go back to doing that now. And then she really had a problem with me because now I'm not going to put up with her abuse. Okay, now I'm not going to put up with her abuse. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. And is this all women? No, of course not. This is a small group of women who are acting this way. But it needs to be called out. It needs to be, well, called out is the right term. It just can't continue. The left started this toxic masculinity thing. It's a leftist thing. It completely is. The right, I don't believe in this left-right paradigm in the first place. I really hate it because I don't like the word hate. I really don't care for the left-right paradigm. But there is some merit in it because the right, the conservative, Christian, that's where I would fall, I guess. I'm on the right if you look at it that way. I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus. I believe he's the way, the truth, and the life. I believe he died on the cross for our sins, all that stuff. So that puts me on the right. Leftists, I almost get into a bit of a debate with somebody on YouTube today saying that he was saying Aleister Crowley was as misunderstood as Jesus Christ. No. Aleister Crowley was the wickedest man ever who believed in child sacrifice, dude. Like, come on. You got to be kidding me. So, there is a left-right thing going on. But the left started this toxic masculinity thing. And us Christians are considered misogynists because in the Bible, the man is the head of the household. Okay, he's the head of the house. The woman is really supposed to go along with what he says. And I mean, we can use the word obey. I think that's what the word is in the Bible. I think in the modern day, most Christian men, we pull back on that. I've never had my wife obey me and say, you're going to do what I say, ever. I mean, the women I've been with, they would have laughed at me. They would have said, yeah, right. You'll be sleeping on the grass outside tonight, buddy. That's how it would have been. So no woman has ever obeyed me or thought she had to, nor did I think that any woman should obey me. I don't take it that far at all. But let's say in the middle of the night, somebody's breaking in, and it might be a dangerous criminal trying to kill you all. Is the woman getting up, or is the man getting up to see what's going on? Let's think about it that way. Well, hopefully the man he's a real man, and he's going to get up and tell his woman to go hide somewhere and go get the kids, whatever, and you guys hide, and I'll look after this intruder. That's because he's the head of the house. He's the head of the household. He's in charge in that respect. He's the man. He's the protector. He should be the breadwinner. He should be the one taking care of business that way. This idea that the left has that, well, that's why they ruined women's sports and stuff. We've got these trans people in sports now, a man who's actually pretending he's a woman, and he's competing against women, and he's winning everything, and it's pathetic. And he should have a little bit more integrity and think more of himself. He's a laughingstock to most of the world because he's beating girls at these sports. Girls are not physically as strong as men. No. Scientifically, this can be proven. I don't care what anyone says. Men are stronger than females physically. Okay? That's why the man should be the one to get up out of bed and go and deal with the intruder while the woman hides. Okay? So in this respect, I totally agree with men being the head of the household and stuff that way. Yes. That's the natural order of stuff. That's just how it is. This whole idea that there's an equality there, there isn't. There isn't. There is in rights. Does the woman have the same legal rights and human rights as the man? Of course. Of course. She has the right not to be abused, not to be beaten, not to be anything. Same with the man. He has the same rights. If his rights are infringed upon or her rights are infringed upon, it's the same. Gender should not even play a part. So I don't think that one is superior over the other. I just think that one is physically stronger and has a different role in the natural order of things. And that's the man. This also puts more responsibility on him and puts him in more danger than her. So, and let's say there's a draft, there's a war, and they start drafting people. Well, that's when the women all of a sudden don't like this equality. Like, oh, no, that's for the men to go and do that. They don't want to go to battle. And they shouldn't. They shouldn't. That is also for the men to take care of. That's how it is. Would I rather have the physically weaker gender defending the country? Nope. I'd rather them be home, taking care of the children, keeping the home fires burning, while the man is off doing that because he's physically stronger, able to do that better. Okay, so that's not misogyny. That is a fact, a natural fact. This has bothered me so much since this started. It came out of nowhere. All of a sudden, the women's libbers, they really got it going. The women's lib movement was just nothing but destructive. And they ate themselves, actually, is what they did. They painted themselves into a corner and didn't know what to do after that. And I hope the whole movement just flops and everybody just goes back to the natural order of things. Why can't people see the natural order of things? And all men are not bad. This is the main point of this video here. I'm so tired of people thinking that men are just violent, mean people. Not at all. Not at all. I am really being honest when I say I'm a nonviolent, peaceful, compassionate, empathetic person. I do not ever use violence against anybody or even wish violence on anybody or any. You can even call me a wimp. I'm even a crybaby. I cry all the time. I'm so emotional and sensitive that I cry a lot, right? I am not one of these big, tough, misogynistic guys, but I'll be accused of it, like I was in the grocery store today. She was so scared of me. She literally wanted me to, I had to pull my cart back and, okay, I'm sorry. I dared to speak to her, and she wasn't happy about that. In the end, it was me who really wasn't happy. And the cashier, she felt really bad for me. She's like, wow, that woman is whacked. Which, yeah, she was. She was. But I think she just watched a lot of leftist material and saw that there's an opportunity to get sympathy that way and get people on your side. And, she's probably one of those. There's another thing that happens too. Women, some of them have been caught on film, like on video, hidden camera, that they didn't know they were being filmed, but saying to their man, yeah, oh yeah, like having an argument, just a verbal argument. Well, I'll call the cops and I'll say you did this, even though it's obvious that he never did that. How many videos have I saw like that of women threatening? Well, who do you think they're going to believe? They're going to believe me. They're going to believe me. This is the kind of stuff that God said, you need to talk to the world about this, because he's not happy about that. He's not happy about that. It's going against the natural order of things, that the way he made things. Okay? Men are to be protectors. The ones who infringe upon that, and they are abusers, they do need to be stopped and punished. They shouldn't be doing that. Absolutely not. But just because some of them do fall into that, that doesn't give women an excuse to start using that and persecuting the innocent ones who aren't doing that at all, who will be protectors and will go along with the natural order of things properly. So that's all I have to say on it. A lot of people are going to really hate me for this video, and that's, well, I can't say a lot of people because hardly anybody will ever see it. YouTube doesn't recommend my videos to anybody. But there will also be a few people who see this video and go, yeah, that needed to be said. So thanks for watching, especially if you got it this far. 21 minutes of me ranting about this. It's probably not too many of you left, but if there's anybody, thanks very much. And remember that Jesus Christ, who fully believes in the natural order of things and is totally about peace and nonviolence and loving your enemies and the whole bit, is the way, the truth, and the life, the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings.